Hey guys, it's Dave from Nerdwork Network. Today we're just going to be doing a simple unboxing video. Got the AORUS Z390 Xtreme motherboard. This is the board that I'm going to be using in my daily PC. It's an EvolveX build. It is a fully water-cooled build, hardline tubing, things like that. In case you haven't seen any of the other videos, I'm going with a 2080 Ti. That's the hydro copper. I didn't think to do an unboxing video of that guy. Probably would have made a pretty alright one, but I've been using it now for about a month. Just dialing in overclocks, seeing how cool it runs and the best optimal cooling solution for it, which I'm going to be using two 360 rads, but I've been using one 360 rad to just cool the chip and the GPU, and to my surprise, it runs really good. I mean, we're looking 45C at load after a couple hours of gaming, so I think two 360 rads inside of an EvolveX is going to be a pretty nice little sweet spot. Also, the 9900K that I'll be running in here is D-lid. We'll be going direct die cool. If you guys do want to see that, just drop a comment down there, say, hey Dave, want to check that out. Moving along, the box is pretty similar to ROG boxes, and some people may find that funny. Doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me, obviously, is going to be the quality of the board. Now, there's lots of goodies that come bundled in this, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to just take a quick look at this board. Now, this is Gigabyte's flagship. There is one board, or I don't know, one tier above this, but it's actually the same board, and it comes with a full cover water block, sort of like what you would get back in the old days where everything is covered. And a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. Me personally, I wish I would have gotten it, but as far as performance goes and things like that, it's identical. So this is a hefty board. Reinforced RAM slots, reinforced PCI slots. There's 3 locations, 1, 2, 3, to install M.2 drives. Killer board, man. 17 phase, or is it 16 phase? I already forgot. VRM. So pretty much any sort of overclock I'm able to achieve on my Z390 Dark should be, okay to run on this board. It is an entirely overbuilt VRM. I mean, it goes back to the old fin stack heatsink arrays, which is good. We've got the horizontal 24 pin. Some people like it. I really like it. We've got additional PCIe power should you decide to do some hardcore overclocking on a couple of cards. I don't know what the necessity is of it if you're just running one card, but IO shield is built onto the board. It's got very nice, I mean, look at that. You got 2, 4, 6, 8 USB ports, 4 of which are 3.1s. There's one, oh wait, 4, 6, yeah. And then of course you've got Type C, dual gigabit Ethernet, built-in HDMI, and Wi-Fi. There's lots of RGB going on this board. You may not be able to see it, but this entire area right here is RGB. Moving on to the back, it's got rear armor. This is actually the second one that I've built with, and if you take off the rear armor, which I've done in the past, you'll see that it actually serves a purpose. There's thermal pads and things like that under there to help dissipate the heat away from the board. So we are going to be removing this LGA latch, not in today's video, but direct die cooling, you do have to remove this latch, replace it with whatever sort of direct die frame you're going to use. I don't know how many are available or what different kinds are out there, but I'll be using Der Bauer's 9th Gen OC frame, which I'm currently testing on a test bench. I've been running that for about a week. Really great temps. We got stickers. This is awesome. We'll get to that in a second. So they've really thought of it all. These are little LED diodes. I'm not entirely sure what you would need them for or what they're for, but they're there. Just trying to see if there's a case badge. If you don't know me, I'm crazy about case badges for some reason. Wi-Fi antennas. G connector, similar to Asus's Q connector. We've got SATA cables, RGB cables, DRGB cables, which is going to be your addressable 5-volt, more SATA cables. So there's two 12-volt RGB headers on the motherboard, as well as two 5-volt RGB headers on the motherboard. There's actually a lot more than that. We'll get to that in a second. SLI bridge. This is a high bandwidth bridge. Maybe worth mentioning that it's not NVLink. I don't think any boards are coming with NVLink. This is the OC touch card, and I haven't used one. I don't think I will use one. It's really neat that they added it. I mean, who knows? I'm never say never, right? That's the cable to plug that guy in. Got some text messages rolling in. Velcro straps, cable management. Really consider it. This is a USB driver. Now, in the last one that I built with, I was not able to update these drivers. I wasn't able to erase the USB drive and reformat it and use it for another purpose. Maybe there's a way to do that. If you guys know of a way, drop a comment, let me know. Tried everything I could think of. M.2 screws, M.2 mounts, and that'll about do it for most of the accessories. It's really cool that they added this. I do like that. Maybe I should come up with a way to use it. An excuse to use it of sorts. So this board is just jam-packed with accessories. Alright. Now I'm going to try to cover this as fast as I can. I may make a mistake because I think it is the only product of its kind on the market. What we've got here is the RGB Fan Commander by AORUS. Really nice box. Tough. They designed this to fit inside of a 2.5-inch drive mount, like an SSD. This is magnetic. It's not a very strong magnet, but it will hold itself. What this does, this is an RGB controller. All right, USB out to motherboard. It is SATA powered. USB in. For Gigabyte boards, AORUS boards in particular, you don't have to use these. You just plug this motherboard sync. This breaks out into a USB 2.0. Takes up one of your 2.0 headers, which this board has two of, I believe. Yeah, it's got two. So, what's cool about this, if we could just get this up. So when you plug this into your motherboard, oh, I laid hands on the right cable the first time. Let's try. When you plug this into your motherboard, now you're obviously going to run gigabytes control suite, and within that suite you're going to have things like smart fan to control your fans. You're going to have things like RGB fusion, control your RGB. When you plug this into your motherboard, you now have 8 individual RGB headers. 8 individual headers that you can control independently from themselves. All the RGB hubs that I've tried in the past, you know, there's a master cable which, you know, tells the controller what to do, and then the rest are slaves. Anything else that you have plugged into it, they're going to mimic each other. There's no individuality with them. And while it works, you know, it works fine, you don't have that freedom. You know, you spent all this money on addressable LED fans, or you spent all this money on addressable RGB, you know, products, whether it be a reservoir or light strips or, you know, just about anything is RGB these days, folks. Even mouse mats. But having the ability to control everything individually. Now, you don't have to have fans plugged into this guy. You can just use whatever RGB product you want. So this guy right here plugs into your fan commander. Okay, once that's in there, that's probably upside down, you've got 3 breakouts, one of which is a 4-pin PWM for your fans. You can use a 3-pin with it if you want. And it's also worth mentioning that you will have individual fan control among its respective channels. But Gigabyte went so far as to include both 12 volt and 5 volt. So if you've got the original standard of RGB being 12 volt non-addressable, you're covered. You can still control its colors, albeit non-addressable. But if you do have addressable, you've got the option for that as well. Why Gigabyte does not sell this controller separately from this motherboard, I do not know. At the time of making this video, you cannot buy this separately. At the time of making this video, at least as far as my knowledge goes, there's no product like this on the market. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I need another one of those, to be honest with you. They give you 8 of them, of course, to use this to its max ability, as well as extension cables. Yeah, extension cables for the RGB. They give you a couple of extra LED diodes. Once again, I don't know what you would use those for. I'm sure those are RGB though, otherwise they wouldn't be in this particular box. But just awesome piece of kit in my opinion. I mean, I wasn't on the RGB train when it first came out, but just one of those things. You gotta see it. It can get stale, at least in my opinion, running the same colors all the time. So white coolant, white EK solid coolant, RGB. I mean, at least I could change the color of the build, you know, every day, every couple of days or whatever. But this motherboard does sell for $459.99 or $449.99. One more time, $549.99. So it is a pricey board, but you get a lot for your money. You know, you're getting 17-phase VRM. You're getting, you know, reinforced PCI slots. You're getting a really good overbuilt VRM. I mean, I'm really happy that they brought back the Fend heatsink array. Also, if you haven't, or if you're interested in this board, go check out Buildzoid's breakdown of this motherboard. It's really good, really well done. But $549.99, Newegg, Amazon, and that'll about do it. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss the next videos that we release. If you liked the video, thumbs up it. If you didn't, thumbs down it. And I will see you on the next one.